Hello, welcome back to the channel. My name is Lisa Elvin Staltari, and I'm a genealogist and a passionate traveler. Since 2021, I have been examining each of these villageois, trying to get their stories known a little bit more. This is episode 299. We're getting to 300. We're halfway there, I think. And each and every one of them brought something special, and each one of them left a descendancy. So we need to honor and kind of put their name in lights. And that was always my intention for this project, to just kind of speak their names. And with that being said, before we begin, let me show you ways you can support the channel. The first three keep you in the know. Subscribe, like, and notify. All of that helps the logarithms go crazy and people get to know my channel. The next couple of ways are ways that you can help the channel financially grow, if that's something you'd like to see. I have memberships now through YouTube, and they start at 99 cents a month and go all the way to $24.99. Click on the link provided, and it'll give you all that kind of good information. Another way is, which many people do, is through the PayPal link on my website, haverootswilltravel.com, and that gives them a chance to donate, and they can do it on a monthly basis or on a one-time basis as well. So with that being said, thank you to all of you who have already contributed, who have subscribed. I really appreciate each and every one of you. So let's get on with the show. Today on Les Filles du Roi, we are doing episode 299, Isabelle Aupe, or Isabelle Lopez Aubert. Some of you may experience the name differently and just want to make sure that I acknowledge it. She was through a viewer request. I did not have her in my file, so let's get to know Isabelle a little bit better. Isabelle was born in 1648 in the beautiful city of Rouen, which is found in the Normandy region of France. Her parents, Charles Aupe and Catherine Hubert. You can see on the map, we have Normandy circled up on the upper left of your screen. And then the next one tells you the département or counties. She is part of the Seine-Maritime, and of course Rouen being the capital of the Normandy region. And it flows on the River Seine. It is an amazing historical city. It has played at one time, such a prominent role in both English and French histories. Joan of Arc was tried and burned alive in 1431 in this area. Rouen is a city of cultural and educational. It was from this area even that the Statue of Liberty sailed in June of 1885. Now the church that she would have been baptized in, the current church dates from the 18th century, but the actual beginnings of it date back to the 9th or 10th century. And it was named, Église Saint-Sever is named after Saint Severus, a 4th century bishop. And I mean, it got remodeled and remade. It played such a significant role in Rouen's religious life during periods of conflict like the Wars of Religion in the 16th century and of course during the French Revolution. But it has stood the test of time and continues as an active parish. She would select, and it would select her. It was Pierre de Lavoie. Now, some of you may know that Lavoie, Lavoie, is a very, very prominent name in Quebec, but this is the beginnings of it. De Lavoie. He was born in 1631 in Saint-Étienne d'Erté in France. His parents were Pierre de Lavoie and Elisabeth Vadois. Now, the population today of Erté is 10,000. It is located in the Charente-Maritime department of Nouvelle-Aquitaine, a region that we go to many times. It's very close to La Rochelle, which obviously many of you know that La Rochelle is the starting point of many stories. The town's name has evolved over the centuries. The current name, Erté, emerged in the 17th century. It's believed that Erté signifies chemin or voie romaine, road or Roman way, possibly derived from the Roman road that traversed the commune. That's how long this place has been here. A notable historical landmark in Erté is the Église Saint-Étienne, the Church of St. Stephen. Originally constructed in the 10th century, this church obviously has undergone various modifications over the century, but remains standing. Erté played a role during the Hundred Years' War. In 1572, Protestant forces from La Rochelle destroyed the Catholic Church of Erté. During the Great Siege of La Rochelle in 1627, King Louis XIII himself resided in Erté. And look at those beaches, absolutely phenomenal. Now, Pierre's path to Isabelle was a little complicated. He was basically in New France as of 1650. He was married to Jacquette Grinon, with whom he had 4 children. And she would pass away by the 1667 census. He is listed as a farmer of François Pelletier with 2 of his children, Marie and Olive, who were the youngest. And he actually owned about 18 acres of land. And before he agreed to marry Isabelle, he actually annulled marriage contracts with at least 2 filles du roi that we know of. And so Jeanne Burel and Anne-Françoise Richard Martin, who we've profiled. So this is kind of like an interesting twist. So obviously he was really looking for something specific, and he found it in Isabelle. Let's have a look at the 4 children that he brought into his marriage. First, we have Suzanne, who would marry Jean Tesson and would have 1 child who did survive. She would then marry Pierre Girard and would have 8 more children, 6 of whom made it to adulthood. Jean would marry Marie-Barbe Lhomme and would have 6 children, 5 of whom would make it to adulthood. Marie would marry Pierre Grenon and would have 11 children, 9 of whom made it to adulthood, 8 of whom left descendants. Who would marry Michel Frenette and would have 5 children, 3 of whom made it to adulthood. And so they were married on August 25th, 16. Leave at Saint-Augustin de Demarre. I have not been able to find the marriage record. So with that, they started their new life. To know a little bit about this very tiny community of Saint-Augustin de Demarre. It's an interesting place in Quebec, as 17 filles du roi eventually settled here. We'll obviously, and we have returned here time and again. Here's a little history. In 1647, Jean Chouchereau, Lord of Mar, is given the seigneury that includes this very small village. By 1668, the territory begins to be occupied. It was then called Demarre. By 1671, a community mill was established at Lake Saint-Augustin by the lord, or the son of the original lord, also named Georges Juchereau de la Ferté. By 1685, Paul-Augustin Juchereau de Mar becomes the 3rd seigneur of this community. The name of the parish most probably comes from his first name. 91, the establishment of the parish is recognized. Although there are no official documents that prove this date, it's the unofficial start of the parish. At this time, there were approximately only 200 people living there, and one couple, was our dear couple Isabelle and Pierre. And you can see it on the map here. I'll give you the link to this map as well. It's fascinating, and you can clearly see where les filles du roi. All those ladies all the names in red are the filles du roi. Saint-Augustin de Demarre, I visited it. This is one of my pictures I took. And it is clearly a village that is steeped in history, and truly you feeling like it's a step back in time. It really is absolutely amazing. I enjoyed it much more than I thought I would. I thought, well, let me check this off the list. But really, Saint-Augustin de Demarre is really one of those little villages that is kind of a jewel. So if you get a chance to visit, please do. Go on to have 8 children together. Marianne would marry Jacques Poitras and would have 10 children, 6 of whom would leave descendants. Madeleine would die at age 15. Marie would live but would not leave any descendants. Pierre would pass away at the age of 14. Vincent would live but did not leave any descendants. François also passed away in infancy. Romain married Marie-Thérèse Jean and would have 2 children, both of whom made it to adulthood. And we have Elisabeth, who died at 2 years of age. Very tragic kind of, scenario in terms of they've only got 2 children that actually made it past a certain age to leave descendants. And then we have Marie, their third child, who obviously chose not to get married. Now, in the 1681 census, we have Pierre Lavoie, who is age 50. We have Elisabeth Aubin. Remember that Elisabeth and Isabelle are often used synonymously because they're kind of nickname. Isabelle is a nickname to Elizabeth and so forth. And their children are Marie, Magdalene, Pierre, Vincent, François, and they have 12 arpents valants, about 9 acres of land. Isabelle would pass away in 1687, and it is believed she was a victim of the smallpox epidemic. She would have been just 39 years old, much too young. But even with that, she left us with 24 descendants as of 1729. Now, that doesn't sound like a lot, but if you're one of those descendants, you are so grateful for Isabelle's presence. Pierre would not remarry, and he would pass away at the ripe old age of 77. And so ends our story of Isabelle Aupe. Honestly, when I saw how young she was when she passed away, my heart broke because even in those days, 39 was an incredibly tragic age to pass away at. She left behind her family, her children, her husband, and honestly, I think that even though she died so young, she was able to make a difference obviously in Pierre's first family and honestly in her second family as well. She endured great loss and persevered nonetheless until she could not. So for all that she attempted to do and all that she did, we thank her and we bless her memory. Thank you so much, Isabelle. And I also want to thank my patrons and supporters. Without you, this channel would not really exist. So thank you so much for all your words of wisdom and support. I thank each and every one of you. And with that being said, I will see you on the next episode of Les Filles du Roi.